as always, please retry this question before watching the video. So one thing you need to know to be able to answer this question, if you don't know the answer, add it to your cheat sheet and master it and go back 5 before continuing in the video. What is the WTD for all understanding questions? The WTD for all understanding questions is be as literal as possible. And so it's certainly true of literals. And that is what category we're dealing with here. For understanding questions, if the question actually asks us a question, the prompt actually asks us a question, then it is an understanding grouping. These are the ones that pertain to actually needing to know the content of the passage. These are not going to deal with grammar. And so whenever you find these, you're just being as literal as possible in what it's asking and answering exactly what it's asking. So with that in mind, we're going to go ahead and start right there. Which choice best completes the rhetorical pattern established in the preceding sentences? The rhetorical pattern established in the preceding sentences. So we need to see the rhetorical pattern in the preceding sentences. So the first sentence is, on a concrete pillar just a few meters from the Eiffel Tower, painted letters spell out, "This is not a photo opportunity." Next pattern, on the sands of the Bristol Channel, a large spray-painted X promises buried treasure. So now it's asking us to find the one that follows that same pattern. Answer F. On the side of a building in London, a stenciled image depicts a pair of uniformed soldiers painting a vibrant red peace sign. So this is almost certainly going to be our correct answer. It has the first word on, which all of these have, and it sets up, some location, and then it says some action that's happening at that location is the basic structure of those. So G, found in London on the side of a building, a stencil image depicts a pair of uniformed soldiers. It's very similar, but F literally starts with the same word as the other two. So that is a big giveaway. And remember, they are actually trying to make it easy. They're not trying to trick you on these literals. They want you to be as literal as possible. And so they're going to give you hints to what is going to be. And all three of them start with the same word. That is a big hint. The side of a building in London depicts a pencil image of uniformed soldiers. Definitely not the same. This is putting the action and the location in the same. It doesn't start with the word on, which we already have one. It not starting with the word on isn't a deal breaker, but when you have one that starts with the same thing as the other, it's asking for the same pattern, that is a dead giveaway. It's almost certainly going to be that answer. A stenciled image on the side of a building in London depicts uniformed soldiers. So again, this is putting both the action and the location, which is a different structure. It doesn't start with the word on, and we've already got one that does. All these allow us to eliminate answer J, choosing answer F. If this made sense to you, please add it to your worksheet. Write down what you learned on the explanation side and write out the answer. Then go through this test and do all the remaining literals questions that you missed on this test before going to the next category. If this is the last literals question that you missed on this test, highly recommend that you go ahead and do the literals mastery, getting 10 questions correct in a row before moving on, because you should never be missing a literals question. This is the second easiest category on this test, and you probably are just way overcomplicating it. So take the time, get 10 questions correct in a row, and you're going to recognize again and again that it is so much easier than you are thinking that it is. After you get done with that, come back to this test and start the process over with the category you missed the most of next.